In half an hour, an update on world affairs in the ITV Evening News.
Anglia News at 6 with Caroline Oldrey and Tim Curtis.
He delivers the news. Now he's making it. The paperboy fighting for his rights. He wants paid holiday.
Rita's protest. She's living in her car after being evicted from the home she's lived in for 28 years.
And the big men ready for the big match. We're live with the Saints on the eve of the Twickenham Cup final.
Good evening and welcome to Anglia News. First, the paperboy trying to make legal history. He's fighting his employers for holiday pay.
14-year-old Edward de Clay is taking Herts and Essex newspapers to a tribunal. He's done his research and says European law is on his side. John Francis reports.
While many of us are relaxing after the working day, teenagers like Edward de Clay are just starting their evening rounds. He spends 2.5 hours every week delivering the Harlow Star around his home in Sawbridgeworth. He fits it in between school and homework, and it nets him £12 a week, vital pocket money for any skate hockey fan. But now Edward, who's 14, is launching a legal challenge on behalf of paperboys and girls everywhere. He claims the European Working Time Directive, which covers holiday pay, should apply to them too.
I actually saw a programme on TV which said that paperboys and papergirls should get holiday pay. So I thought, oh, I'll go and ask them about it. And they came back to me with the answer that no, we shouldn't get holiday pay. And so I phoned up Citizens Advice Bureau and ACAS, and they said that I did have quite a strong case on my hands.
But his employers, Herts and Essex newspapers, disagree. They say the directive doesn't apply to children.
Once he'd made his claim, we needed to resist it because it demonstrated that there was a gap in the legal provision, and somebody has to clarify that.
But employment experts reckon he has a strong case.
The working time regulations define workers and adult workers. An adult worker is a worker who has reached the age of 18. The right in this case applies to all workers, and that applies whether they're adult workers or not.
Edward's family and friends are backing his challenge all the way.
I think he's right to go for it on principle, although the effort of campaigning is probably more than the money he'll get back. I still think on principle he's right.
And if he's successful, Edward could become one of the youngest champions of children's rights in Britain. John Francis, Anglia News.
Stansted Airport unveiled its £60 million improvement today and announced plans to spend hundreds of millions of pounds more. It's all part of a master plan to virtually double the number of passengers over the next decade. But not everybody is happy, as Malcolm Robertson reports.
Some of the 15 million passengers who'll use Stansted Airport this year. Since 1997, the numbers have trebled. To help cope, a £60 million expansion to the terminal was officially opened today. It includes 36 new check-ins.
We're growing the airline 25% every year, so we need this extra space, for the people, for check-in and for departures. So it's a really wonderful, quite a historic day, really.
Over the next 10 years, the likely development of the airport and nearby roadwork could run to hundreds of millions of pounds. Planning permissions being sought to handle an additional 10 million passengers a year.
Our next aim is to get to that 25 million mark, and I think that's really within our grasp and within our capability. And then if we get to that and we get that planning permission, then we'll just see where we go from there.
But there are fears about what might happen beyond that. Norman Mead's on the Airport Consultative Committee and is a member of a local preservation society. He's appalled at the prospect of many more passengers.
I think it will be utterly disastrous to an area where there is so much at stake in terms of heritage items. We have here the ancient forest of Hatfield, very much at risk. We have listed buildings, conservation areas, areas of special landscape value, all around the airport.
Officials at Stansted Airport accept that they face a tricky task in the years to come, trying to strike a balance between those who wish to travel and those who live here and want this to remain a pleasant part of the Essex countryside. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News, Stansted Airport.
News of another major development now. More than 1,000 new jobs are being created in Luton. The aerospace company BAE Systems is spending £20 million building a new research centre in the town. Linda Fairbrother reports.
This is the old Luton, Vauxhall's closed car factory. Up the hill is the new Capability Green Business Park, where BAE Systems have bought a 12.5-acre site. By spring 2004, 1,200 people will be working here in a state-of-the-art research and development facility. Some of those jobs will be relocated from London, but about 1,000 of them will be new jobs for Luton. It's all down to location, location.
The airports and the M1 are just a few of the attractions, coupled to the fact that the economy here will probably provide us with a unique opportunity to develop our existing business.
Already 2 other big aerospace companies are in Luton. Boeing runs a flight safety centre, the largest of its kind in the world, and a company called ACT makes aircraft materials.
This is the beginning of a serious cluster of such companies, and it's very welcome because of it.
The next move is to attract yet more. Then the town could become the aerospace hotspot for the region. Linda Fairbrother, Anglia News, Luton.
Good news for Luton. Now, they say home is where the heart is, and one woman from Peterborough has gone to extreme lengths to try and keep hers.
Rita Copeman was made to leave her house more than a week ago. So, in protest, she's moved into her car in the road outside, and she says she'll live there for as long as it takes to get her home back. Liz Day reports.
For the last 28 years, this 3-bedroomed house at Westwood Farm in Peterborough has been Rita Copeman's home. But for the last 8 days and nights, since she was evicted by bailiffs, she's been living opposite in her Vauxhall Astra car as a protest.
I'm enjoying it, actually. And I'm getting stronger by the day, and for as long as it takes. I have friends that water and feed me and keep me supplied with clean clothes, and I can go on forever.
Despite always paying her rent on time to a private landlord, Rita was kicked out because the City Council has condemned her house. The property is owned by Westwood Farm Property Limited. Their solicitors issued a statement saying they regretted her distress, but because the house had been condemned, letting Rita live in it would be illegal. Rita's refused several offers of flats elsewhere in the city, and declining property means she's made herself intentionally homeless. But she's determined to get her own home back, where she has so many years of happy memories, and says she'll live in her car for as long as it takes. Liz Day, Anglia News.
Well, we have the rest of the day's news still to come.
And in sports, Stuart will be joining us live from the Saints Hotel near Twickenham as they get ready for tomorrow's Powergen Cup final. But first, Sara Thornton has ruined my whole life. Tell them, Sara.
Seriously, could you be more melodramatic about it all? All I said was it wasn't going to be completely glorious sunshine and hot, dry weather over the weekend.
It's going to rain. It's going to rain.
You know, just because you've got a few days off, it is going to rain a little bit on Sunday. And actually, today wasn't the day that we'd hoped for either, I'm afraid. I've got some weather pictures from Buckton in Northamptonshire. A lot of cloud around there, spoiling the lovely picturesque scene there. A lot more cloud than we wanted. Lots of hazy sunshine, really. And as for your days off, Tim, I'd do all your gardening tomorrow and all your outdoor activities, because as I say, there is going to be a bit of rain. For Sunday, I'm really sorry about. And for tonight, it is going to be pretty dry, really. Take a look at the weather charts. Ground frost under the clear skies, and tomorrow mostly sunny, but cloud will build from the west later in the day, but it will feel mild. And of course, I'll have the full forecast at the end of the programme. Caroline, just a note for you, you're off to Twickenham tomorrow, I know.
Oh, definitely.
It should be sunny and it should be dry. Apparently I got it wrong for the semi-final, did I?
You did. It was absolutely freezing, so I'm hoping at least it'll be warmer tomorrow.
Sara, thank you very much indeed. Other news now, and 10 men were in court today charged with violent disorder after the riot and fire at the Yarlswood Immigration Centre near Bedford. They had to be brought to the court at Bedford by prison van. They've all been moved from Yarlswood and are being detained at immigration centres and prisons around the country. There was a small protest outside the court against the government's use of detention centres for asylum seekers. The cost of the damage caused by the fire is put at £43 million, but insurers are trying to sue Bedfordshire Police for more than double that.
A housing estate in Bury St Edmunds had to be evacuated for the second time this year after a digger fractured a gas main. People living in the Mount Road area noticed the smell of gas just after 8 o'clock this morning. Back in January, a fracture in the same gas main led to 200 people spending 12 hours away from their homes. Today, the leak wasn't as bad and residents were able to return to their homes after a couple of hours.
2 children, they're aged 10 and 11, are in hospital after being thrown 20 feet from a fairground ride in Luton last night. They were on a ride at the fair at Sundon Park when the accident happened. The 10-year-old girl broke her leg and the boy was treated for serious head injuries. Health and safety officials are investigating.
Now, it's 10 years, would you believe, since women were first allowed to train as combat pilots in the Royal Air Force.
Today at RAF Wittering, they were celebrating that anniversary and showing that there's a lot more to the RAF than aeroplanes. Piers Hopkirk went along.
Andrea McCall's a tornado navigator who's seen active service in Iraq and Kuwait. You could say she's the ultimate backseat driver.
I've got a fantastic job, and yes, I would encourage women to come and do that job. So if that makes me a role model, then I'm quite happy to be one.
She's just one member of this flying formation looking to spell out a clear message. The RAF is an equal opportunities employer. It's just 10 years since women were allowed to become combat pilots. Now at RAF Wittering, a day to highlight the work of women across the service.
We're here today to scotch the rumour that there's any difference between women in the Royal Air Force and their male counterparts. We are all of one company and all of one company service.
The women have come from across Britain, covering every role from ground to air.
So much to do, you know, your horizons is broadened, education is very good, movements, it's just a better career, I find, you know.
I would totally try and push it to any kids of 16, 17 that are looking for something different, that the Air Force is a life to have.
The message to future recruits, the RAF's career ladder is open to all. Piers Hopkirk, Anglia News at RAF Wittering in Cambridgeshire.
Well, we move on to sport now, and I think all roads out of Northampton will be heading to Twickenham this weekend. Tomorrow, of course, to watch the Saints hopefully win the Power Gen Cup final. Stuart is already there to give us the latest pre-match report.
Yes, thanks, Caroline. The team are settling into their hotel just across the road behind me, and what a fantastic view they've got on a lovely evening in London. Look at this, down Richmond Hill, across the Thames, and if you look closely at Gary's pictures in the far distance, you might just make out the roof of the Twickenham stand, and that's about 1.5 miles away. That's where they'll be tomorrow, and in fact this afternoon on the coach trip down from Northampton, the players stopped off at the old stadium to have a look round. Empty now, but this stadium will be packed to its 75,000 capacity when Northampton take on London Irish tomorrow. Saints have picked a highly experienced team, 14 internationals in the 15-man starting lineup, and for one of them, his first ever visit to Rugby's world headquarters.
Yeah, it's just an awesome stadium, and it reminds me a little bit of Kings Park, the big roof and the way it goes up. But it's still got its unique characters, and it's a great stadium. It's great to be part of it.
I did play quite some time ago, but it was just a schoolboy fixture, Aussie schools versus England schools. It was against Dorse actually, so that was a bit of fun, but certainly nothing to what it's going to be tomorrow. You know, it was in front of maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people, and to have a packed stadium with all the Saints supporters here, I mean, it's just a phenomenal stadium, and just can't wait.
For Paul Grayson, whose wife gave birth to twin boys on Monday, a chance for some kicking practice at the ground he graced so many times for England. Now the priority for all of them is helping Saints to win their first National Cup final victory in the club's 122-year history. Well, I've got a couple of the players with me now looking very smart. I've just pulled them out of the official team photo session. Grant Seeley here and the captain, Budge Pountney. Budge, what is the attitude and atmosphere among the players on Cup final eve?
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to the game. Obviously we stopped off at Twickenham, and that was a nice experience for most of us, so yeah, it was nice to see the home change rooms, you know. I haven't seen that for a few years, so we're looking forward to it. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
But are you tense, relaxed? What's the mood?
I'd say we were probably a little bit tense this morning when we met up, but I think most of the boys have probably relaxed a little bit now, and you know, come probably after our quiz that Paul Larkins is going to put on, I'm sure will be fairly tense.
And of course, you got the only try for Saints in the last cup final 2 years ago when you lost to Wasps. You desperately want to put it right this time and get a win.
Yeah, it would be nice to win the domestic final. Obviously, we've been there twice before as a club, and but you know, this is an entirely different game to the Wasps game. And, you know, entirely different opposition. They're a good team, and it's going to be a real struggle, that's for sure.
Well, let's move on to Grant Seeley, because you missed out on the cup final 2 years ago and a fortnight later on the European Cup final. Why was that?
I was injured, Stuart, as you know. So it was a nice experience, obviously, being involved in the squad. But watching from the stands, it's a completely different ball game to being on the pitch in the starting lineup shirt. So it's going to be an extra special day for me tomorrow.
The irony was you were injured for the first game, then you played in between and got injured again, didn't you?
Yes, Stuart, that's right. Yeah. It seems like a long time ago now. There's a lot of water under the bridge since then, and it's all forgotten about now. I just want to get on with it, and you know, thoroughly looking forward to tomorrow.
The one player in the 15 who isn't an international, are you nervous or are you quite ready for it?
No, I think it just says a lot for the strength of the squad we've got in Northampton now. I mean, the guys are going to, you know, obviously used to playing in the big stage, and it doesn't put any extra pressure on me. It's just looking forward to the whole occasion, and you know, it's the guys are playing for Northampton tomorrow. International things doesn't count for a thing, so it's going to be a good day.
OK, Grant, thank you, and thank you, Budge, and good luck from us at Anglia to all of the team there. And while we've got this big game at Twickenham, we mustn't forget, of course, there's also a lot hanging on the final weekend of the football season, especially for Rushden and Diamonds.
Go! A glittering end to the Diamonds' first season in the league is in sight. A win away at relegated Halifax would ensure a playoff spot for the newcomers from Northamptonshire.
We've had a hiccup last week at home to Kidderminster, but it was a hiccup, and you get them all the time in football. We've got to bounce back from it, and as I say, it's 90 minutes of football and we've got to win it.
Diamonds away at Halifax then, and already promoted Luton could help their cause if they win at playoff hopeful Shrewsbury. Northampton Town's manager Kevin Broadhurst been dubbed a miracle worker for keeping the Cobblers up. Tomorrow he says farewell to the man who brought him back to Sixfields as chairman Barry Stonhill steps down.
Well, I'm disappointed, obviously, that Barry's leaving as chairman. He supported me throughout my time here, and you know, he was the guy who rang me to see if I wanted to come back. So, you know, I think he's done a terrific job.
Northampton end their season then with a local derby against relegated Cambridge. Peterborough are at home to Bury.
And of course an absolutely vital day on Sunday for Ipswich and Norwich. Ipswich go to Premiership Championship contenders Arsenal. Ipswich desperate for a win to avoid relegation. Norwich are at home to Stockport in their final game at Carrow Road, and they must win too to stand any chance of making the First Division promotion playoffs.
Ipswich Town and Norwich City fans are surely getting nervous about Sunday, and two East Anglian football legends have their own thoughts on what the immediate future may hold for the two clubs.
At the end of the tunnel there's a light. There really is, and there's still a chance for us to stay up.
4 or 5 weeks ago, you could possibly say that Norwich were out of the playoff situation, but you know, other results have gone for us in the week coming, and you know, we're still in with a shout.
It's amazing how the fortunes of Norwich and Ipswich have changed so dramatically. This time last year, Ipswich were near the top of the Premiership, with their eyes on a place in Europe. Norwich had just made themselves safe near the foot of Division 1. Now it's the Canaries on the verge of the First Division playoffs, Town needing a monumental effort to stay in the top flight.
It's been a fantastic turnaround, and you know, the players obviously take a lot of credit from that, but I think Nigel Worthington, Dougie Livermore, Steve Foley and all this coaching staff as well. And there's been a tremendous team effort.
I really do hope we can stay up. It's going to be a hard task, no doubt about it, but we've got players in the side, and we've got a good squad, you know, players ready to come in. And put it this way, I'm optimistic.
So Sunday looms large, but one player who won't be involved is Norwich midfielder Steyn Nedergaard. The Dane has been ruled out after having surgery on an infected knee wound.
And we'll have that Norwich game live on Anglia for you. The kick-off at 2 o'clock. That's when our Soccer Sunday programme starts, just before 2. And I must just tell you here, before we leave the Twickenham area, look at these fantastic messages of support that fans and school children have sent. All sorts of good luck messages, emails and cards to the team in their hotel. Hundreds and hundreds. They're going to have a great day tomorrow. Let's hope they win.
Certainly hope so. We'll be following it. We'll tell you all about it on Monday. For now, good night.
Bye-bye.
Hello, good evening to you. A disappointingly cloudy day today over the Anglia region. A cloud that started out this morning on a satellite sequence sadly refused to budge away. It hung on all day, and even more cloud was generated this afternoon for many spots. And if we put the radar picture over the satellite sequence, you can see that we did have 1 or 2 showers. It was thick enough there to give us those. Now, the UK is under the influence of high pressure, giving largely dry and settled conditions today, but this low out here in the Atlantic is bringing some trouble, steadily moving its fronts towards us tomorrow, turning our sunshine hazy in the afternoon and bringing some overnight rain tomorrow night. And then on Sunday, it brings us all some outbreaks of rain from all those fronts. The good news, though, is that the low moves away for Monday and it will be dry and sunny for a few days after that. But back to tonight, any lingering showers will die away this evening. Then the rest of the night will be dry with some largely clear skies. The temperatures dipping to their lowest under the clear skies, about 1 degree. It will be a bit milder, though, on the coast, but where the temperatures drop to their lowest, there will possibly be a ground frost. Patchy mist will start forming by the morning. It will still be there around first thing, but it will soon clear away to leave the best day of the weekend, really. Dry and sunny from mid-morning, and then more sunshine to come during the afternoon, dry and bright. But then some thicker cloud will start moving in from the west during the afternoon. But it will be pleasant in the sunshine, 15 degrees the high, the winds light and from the south. Now, if you're one of the reported 25,000 people off to support Northampton Saints at Twickenham tomorrow, taking on the London Irish in the final of the Powergen Cup, then not bad weather. Some sunshine, hazy though, but it will be mild, 16 Celsius, 61 Fahrenheit the high tomorrow. Into Sunday then, a generally cloudy day with only small amounts of sunshine around, and outbreaks of rain, I'm afraid, are likely pretty much through the whole region. Mild though, the top temperature around 16 Celsius, 61 in Fahrenheit. So not great news if you're off to Carrow Road to see Norwich take on Stockport and gain a playoff place. Cloudy there with some rain, but as I say, it will be mild. Let's recap with the 5-day outlook then. Tomorrow, the best day of the weekend. And then Sunday, cloudy with some light rain, really. Turning better from Monday, though. Sunnier with some scattered showers and mild. And then that high pressure moves in for Tuesday and for Wednesday, giving us some dry and some sunny days. And temperatures really getting up a notch, just to 17 degrees there, so feeling really rather pleasant. And as for the winds, light and from the south or the southwest from Monday onwards, Tuesday and through into Wednesday. And look at those temperatures overnight, really pretty mild, so not looking like we're going to get any overnight frost. But in summary, tonight clear with some mist, and tomorrow looking like a dry day with some hazy sunshine and more cloud building from the west. Bye-bye.